Hey, Laura J sitting here writing a message to subscribers at LJeH.ca today about intense emotions and in past tense energies in motion that show up in the now in order to be dealt with, because the present moment is the only moment we ever have the ability to actually work with the energies that are meant to be in motion, that sometimes we push to the side, try to deny, pretend don't exist, reject, depress, compress, and contract because we didn't want to in fact deal with that then, and so now must do in the now moment, which is the only moment we ever live in, because otherwise we're in our heads in a not now moment where we have no power until we come back to the present now moment. So all of that is to say, I was sitting here writing the email, and I literally said to myself with my hands up and excited, and I said, I'm so proud of you. And I want you to have the experience of being able to do that for yourself. Even if anyone is looking, and especially when no one is looking, I want you to be able to say, yes, I am standing for what I believe in. And if we fail to stand for, if we don't know what we stand for, we will fall for anything. If we do know what we stand for and we actually claim the right to do it, we can then stand on those claims in lawful notices that we send in advance, and then when anyone tries to violate our claimed rights, then we look at the man or woman I can see, so it's the I on the page that I can see who is liable. Not just able to lie, but responsible and accountable for their choice to cause me harm, loss, or commit fraud against me and not keep the peace, which is what the beeping says. Whoa, this is not a place you want to go unless you do, and then you say, yeah, we can do it. And that is what we can only do as a man or woman, because a man or woman has standing, because we stand on our legs. It's just this whole transhumanism agenda has perverted and converted us to think that being other than is better, to think that we are our person when we each have a person, if we have been registered to a governmental body that has to create an alternative to convert the man or woman into, in order to then gain governance over and the ability to apply their rules to the one that didn't remember who and whose we natively are. Whose do we come from? The creator or source of all. Creator owns the creation in every reality. Therefore, since we created government, the men and women acting for government on its behalf, becoming half of it, the corpse, with an extra E for the energy that they give to the corpse they work for. Apply this to your own situation. Well, if we understand that the public servants that are upholding these mandates, which are edicts, which are rules and policies applied to subjects of the corpse they're working for, and then implying us to be under the jurisdiction of, well, they're accruing personal liability. Their person all is going to be the one that pays, except for a person is a fictitious entity that we are converted into and then think that we are, much like any other status, title, or personage converts the man or woman into woman, because I am title of man, so they say, I've been told, but also the will of man is what a woman is, which is why we are willfully able to bring life into this world should we choose to use our body that way. Or with everything going on right now, that is a very touchy subject that we're not going to touch today, except for I did, and so we'll simply say bodily autonomy. Autonomy generally is the ability to self-govern. The right and condition to self-govern. That's what the blog today is all about. And if we don't claim the right to do with ourselves and ourself what we wish, we will have rules applied to us, and we will think that that's just our lot in life. Well, you can go down that route if you wish, or you can choose to actually stand for yourself as a man or woman. Because if you convert yourself or agree to be other than you originally were, you become an aboriginal, which is no disrespect to any Native, Aboriginal, Métis, Inuit, or any other designation that has become a status you have to carry a status card for because you're no longer the original. You were converted into something else in order to get that which you were actually due the whole time, except for you didn't know how to claim the rights to do it, and so you just took what you were given by the government that converted you into something other than you originally were in order to benefit from you and off of you, and then also get your power because you lose the sense of empowerment. M-E-M being I am, God, God Spark Incarnate, Creator, Source. I am our creative powerhouse words. That starts a sentence that either will uplift or depress us. In the high rise of emotional awareness that I talk about in Fully Committed, the Sacred Sojourn of Now, you'll better understand what I mean by that. But somehow, we're going to actually have to backtrack and get back to the fact we were always enough before the statuses, titles, or personages were applied to make us think that we were more, when in fact, the whole time we were worthy. We were enough. We had the esteem to believe that we could actually weave an inner web that was strong enough to support that which you truly are, that which I am. I am is the EM of empowerment. Power being a force that will either work for us or against us. And ment, government, empowerment, that is the mental body. The con was sent for your consciousness. Do you get it? Can you breathe yourself into the moment to just feel how all of this triggers you and activates you to say, wait a minute, this makes sense. I probably need to listen to it again because it's a whole lot. I've always been told I'm too much. You're too much, Laura. You're too much, too much, too much. Well, what if I was actually just enough the whole time? It just might have been a little too much. Because when you firehose someone, you activate their nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is the combination of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. There are 3 modes that our nervous system goes to, which is very relevant, and I do break it down in the book. But Stephen Porges has a great theory on it called the polyvagal theory. And basically it says that when you feel safe because you feel my heart, and you know that this is safe because you trust the source of the information that is trying to form you on the inside, because that is what information does. You get the information and then you have to log it within the filing cabinet of BS, belief systems, you have given your energy to. And what is a belief system? But simply an idea that has accrued emotional attachments because we truly believe the idea to be true, and so then we log that into the system of similar beliefs or ideas that we give our energy to. That is what a belief system is. So you can take this or leave this. You do whatever you choose. That is how you feel more safe in maybe receiving this information, or maybe you don't and you've already turned it off, at which point you wouldn't hear me say that. So clearly you're still with me if you're watching this. So here we go. You feel safe and you can receive it. That is when you're in a settled state, and then you can actually work with what is being shared with you. The information in formation. Pay attention to the words. If you don't feel safe receiving this information because it feels too much and you're overwhelmed and it takes you into a not now moment of spiraling into fear, false emotion appearing real, you're going to then step into the shutdown phase of just no. Not interested. You've already turned this off and you're definitely not interested in coming back again. Those are the 3 stages. And basically all of the fear mongering with a good intention is the problem. People who are subscribed to the freedom movement, for instance, which I've been and have pulled back my energy from, because I see how until we actually create something safe for those who are too invested in the way things are currently, in the current lie, to actually see it, they don't want to because it doesn't feel safe to them. So they just go into the shutdown phase or the stop trusting you because you don't feel safe, because energetically, if we're triggered and if we're in fear, even if we're trying to get them to know, it doesn't feel safe. So we have to move our own vibration to a safe space, into a safe state, because it is all about the E state, the energy state of our substance. The forms will be what the corpse tries to get us to stand under and in and fit within, because that is how they gain jurisdiction over us and are able to then apply their rules to us, because no longer are we autonomous. No longer are we able to self-govern lawfully. Instead, we think that we have to play by rules that are not fair and are not in the best interest of the people. But until we actually know how to stand in our power, because our mind no longer gets swayed, because our nervous system is settled and we can call ourselves present and we can say, that feels safe, that does not feel safe. I trust myself enough to know the difference. What an empowering experience that is. Julia Cameron has an amazing book called The Artist's Way that last year in the Sacred Self-Compassion Services I read each week for the whole 12 weeks of the course that book entails. And so what I have done now is taken the read from last year and I have moved through it, because emotion needs to move. And our bodies are the vessel that transports our soul through this life in, so we need to move it or we lose access to it. We've heard that before. But now if we apply it to all of what I have just said, which I would love to know how this fits, sits, and feels for you and to you and what you're going to do with it. When we hear the noise of something coming in, we can say, call yourself back to the present moment, and instead of just thinking, feel in the present now moment where all power exists. So that's the message that is a lot longer than what I had intended, but ultimately I hope that you've received value from this, because I do feel like it is incredibly valuable, and I'll be sending this video to those subscribed to LJeH.ca. So thank you to you who are receiving this, because I sent it directly to your inbox, and I appreciate you very much for being with me for as long as what you have been. And I would love to know what this message means to you, what it means for you, and what you're going to do with it and about it and where you're at. Please reach out, reply to the email that I just sent to let me know how all of this lands for you. And if you've got questions that I may be able to offer insight into, please include those. I can't make any promises that I may actually have a suggestion or an opinion specifically relevant or useful to you, but I promise I will do my very best not to add vice to your situation. I will do my very best to not advise or add vice. I will simply do my best to recognize you and celebrate you for being willing to be fully present in the now that we share, because I am here in the now moment that I am recording this in. And when you get to this message, you're in the now moment you live in too. And in this moment we have shared space, because we are both in the now together, even though they're not actually the same moment. It's still the now. Because the only time we're in a not now moment is in our minds, which is why empowerment is about learning how to call ourselves back to the present moment when we are in fear, when our nervous system is activated and triggered and we are shutting down and we're not feeling safe, or we're just fully shut down. Bring yourself back. Learning how to do that when you feel safe gives you cells of recognition to be able to do it in a moment where you don't. So I hope that this helps you in just thinking about how you can actually create an experience of safety in this moment. I hope that it offers it to you as an example for you to be able to say, okay, this feels safe, this feels, I'm triggered, but I'm calm, and this is an interesting experience to become conscious of. So I hope you will continue to use your breath. You will continue to settle back into the present moment, and that you will continue to recognize yourself and genuinely celebrate yourself and find moments of pride where you can actually know that you are divinely guided, just as am I, for I am but a mirror for you. So I hope you do love the view. And if you don't, then be graceful with me and yourself, because we are all perfectly imperfect, and that is more than enough. So, have a great day. LJeH. Namaste. Namago.